Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down everything that happened from Bristol. It was a crazy, and I mean crazy, weekend at Bristol. We're going to break down everything you guys need to know, all the major events. There's so much stuff to talk about, we can't even get to everything because so many big events happened. But before we hop into it really quick, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. You can also hit the little notification bell if you want to notify you when we upload a video. And you can also check us out on Instagram at The Last Lap News. But, man, we got to hop into this episode, Matthew. It was a crazy weekend. Just give me, a quick intro. How you feeling after this weekend? Because we got to hop straight into it. We got a lot to talk about.
Man, then I'm gonna be honest with you. This had to be one of the best race weekends in a long time. It's been a while since we had all three series at one track in one weekend that delivered on the racing, the crazy finishes, and tempers flaring. I mean, this was amazing from the Truck Series to the Cup Series, and even ARCA as well. I'll admit that, but man. What a crazy weekend it was. I cannot wait to discuss this one. And by the way, I gotta give this disclaimer out for any Chase Elliott fans if you get a little sensitive about this one of the topics we're gonna discuss, this is not the video for you. So if you easily get triggered, now's your time to leave. I had to put that out there because I've seen a lot of posts and the reaction hasn't gone too well.
It's okay. I'm gonna defend Chase Elliott, so you guys can support me. You guys can blame Matthew for everything. You guys can stick around because I'll defend him for you guys. But
we're gonna get hated tonight.
We're gonna hop into the truck recap really quick. I'm not even gonna recap the race. I'm just gonna say what happened in the final 15 laps. So Austin Hill got into a wreck with 11 laps to go. That took him out of the championship. He was in before that happened, but that knocked him out, and that set up a restart. And Sheldon Creed took the outside, Traylor Smith took the inside, John Hunter Nemechek took the outside behind Creed. They go at it. All three of them are going at it for the win. They end up getting into Sheldon Creed. He cuts a tire, spins out, no caution. Traylor Smith pulls away. He wins, locks himself into the playoffs the next round. Todd Gilliland would get knocked out, and Zane Smith would be in. So the two of them, it was a 2-point gap between the two of them. They made it into the next round. That's pretty much it I'm going to talk about for that. It was a great finish, though. Really great start to the weekend. And Friday is when it gets even more interesting for the Xfinity Series. So Justin Allgaier spins his teammate Sam Mayer to set up a green-white checker finish. Sam Mayer was not too happy about it, but I mean, it is what it is, and I'm kind of glad he did because that set up a crazy finish to the end. So green-white checker finish. Austin Cindric on the outside, AJ Allmendinger on the inside. They go absolutely crazy. Going into turn 3 and 4 with 2 to go, AJ Allmendinger slides up and hits Cindric. Allgaier goes 3 wide below them. And then Allgaier and Cindric get into it in turn 1 on the last lap. And then Allgaier goes back by them. Allmendinger goes back by the both of them. He takes the lead. Coming out of turn 4, Cindric gets back to Allmendinger. They touch. They crash coming to the finish line. It's absolutely crazy. If I can throw a clip in here, I might get copyrighted for it, so I don't know if I can fit it in here. But if I can't, it's definitely worth looking up because it was absolutely crazy.
Hey, just put video from NASCAR on NBC or something like that. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, it was.
You gotta just give credit. That's all.
It was a crazy finish. Yeah, it was insane. Allmendinger's and Cindric's cars are both trashed. Allmendinger had a couple really hard hits. Thankfully, he was okay. It was the first time both of us have seen in a while the winning driver's car not even show up in victory lane because they took it straight to the garage. That thing was so done. But that was the first 2 races to talk about. Matthew, we want to keep it kind of short, so what do you got to say? Talk about the Xfinity race to me. Tell me your reaction to those final 5 laps there.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Chandler Smith, who was below the cut line the whole first round, but was clutch at the end and got the win. So I want to say congratulations to him first. Second of all, man, shades of Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt back in the 90s. I mean, that's easily got to be like top 3 best finish I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've been going back and forth if it was the best, the second best. I mean, the race winner's car was destroyed. Good luck making that one line out, by the way. You're gonna make that race version? I doubt it, but wow. All I can say was wow. I mean, I did not expect that to happen. I really thought Allmendinger had that in the bag, and then next you know, Cinder just came out of nowhere in that final turn and got into it, and both of them spun out. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. 3 wide. It was 3 wide for the lead at 2 laps to go, and on the last lap, it was absolute chaos. I mean, the race winner's car was absolutely destroyed. It wasn't even the victory lane. It was parked in a garage because it couldn't move anymore. And AJ Allmendinger just climbs out there and just climbs out that car and goes to the ambulance. Like, you would think you'll get the checkered flag, you'll get this, the start-finish line interview that they do. No, he just goes in the ambulance because they got to go to the infield care center. The race winner had to go to the infield care center after the race because, man, I mean, that was crazy. I mean, what do you guys think? Was that the craziest finish you've ever seen, or is it like top 5, top 10? You gotta let me know what you think.
Off the top of my head, it's hard to think of any other finishes that have been close to that, but I mean, that might have to be the top of the list. I mean, for me, I really liked 2012 Watkins Glen. That was a really good finish, but I don't think that was as good as this. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there's been a few restrictor plate races that have been pretty good, but that's just photo finishes. Like, I mean, those are cool, but I mean...
there was Kyle Busch and Larson in Chicagoland when they were, going at it there, both hitting the wall and spinning out.
That was a pretty good one, too. That's probably top 5 for me, but I mean, I don't know. This might have to be the best finish I've seen. Like, I might have to go on YouTube or something and look up some crazy finishes, but I honestly don't think anything will beat this
2007 one. Daytona 500 is also up there for me as well. Side by side with a big crash behind in the background.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't know if I've ever seen both the leaders crash come into the line like that. So I mean, I saw, who was it? Ricky Stenhouse or somebody was like sliding backwards at Talladega and finished like 3rd one time or something.
No, that was Eric Almirola.
Or Alec Almirola, but like that wasn't for the win. So I don't think I've seen anything like that where the leaders are wrecking coming to the line. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's definitely got to be top 3, if not the best finish I've ever seen. So if I can think of a better one, I can, but I don't think I can. So the Xfinity race takes the cake there for now, for me at least, as for the best finish of the year. But that was only the beginning of what was to come on Saturday night for the Cup race. So I would say about the final 100 laps of this Cup race. I mean, the whole race was good, but the final last 100 laps were insane. So Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin get into it with about 100 laps to go, and that causes Hamlin's tire to go down. He hits the wall, that brings out a caution. So Hamlin pretty much, he bounced back kind of, but it didn't take him out of the race. He was still in the race, but that took him out of contention. Kyle Larson stayed out, and then from basically there on, it was Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Kevin Harvick all battling it out for the win. The 3 of them were duking it out. Chase Elliott took the lead, and he was in front of Harvick and Larson. They were running 1, 2, 3 for most of that final 100 laps or so. With 45 laps to go, Kyle Busch cut a tire. Thankfully, he didn't wreck into the wall or anything. He was able to come down pit road, change some tires, and get back on the track. But he was like 2 or 3 laps down at that point. Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick got into it on the track.
Had a heart attack from that.
Yeah, that was the whole playoff structure. The whole playoff grid was shaken up like crazy within these last 50 laps. So Kyle Busch had an issue. Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick got into it, but we will get back to that in a little bit. Christopher Bell had an issue. He blew a tire with 25 laps to go. He had to come and pit. Eric Almirola and Tyler Reddick were trying to make their way into the playoffs. They were a few points below William Byron was in the playoffs. He was third after the whole Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick thing, so he was trying to hold on to his track position. Almirola and Reddick were trying to gain spots, so the final 10 laps, they had a camera on Almirola, they had a camera on Reddick, they had a camera on Byron, they had a camera on the battle for the lead. They had cameras all over the racetrack. Kyle Larson would get the win. Congratulations to him. But the first thing Matthew and I probably want to discuss, and to get this out of the way, is the whole controversy between Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick. So let me walk you through what happened.
You sound really enthusiastic about this one.
Let me walk you guys through what happened. I'll try to throw a video clip in here if I can. So I think it was about 35 to go. That's what I have on my notes here. So Chase Elliott was holding off Kevin Harvick. I definitely think Kevin Harvick had the faster car here. So Kevin Harvick kept trying to pass Chase on the bottom, but Chase would use the high line, get the run off the corner. So they were coming off of turn 2. Chase Elliott had a run. They were side by side going into turn 3. And just so happened to be, guess what? A lapped car going into turn 3. This shouldn't have been there. But anyways, so they both passed the lap. They both passed the lap car. Chase goes up the track. Harvick's basically running Chase up the racetrack. Harvick gets loose, runs into Chase, cuts Chase's left front tire down. Chase has to come in and pit. Harvick takes the lead. Larson drop files into second. William Byron into third, and so on. Chase loses 3 laps on the track because of it, and clearly he's not happy because he comes out of pit road. I think he came out behind Harvick. I don't think he came out in front of him. I think he came out behind Kevin Harvick. So he runs Kevin Harvick back down because he had fresh tires. Chase kind of runs up the track a little bit, and I still can't tell by this replay if he actually touches Harvick or not, but he clearly turns right to show his displeasure to Kevin Harvick, and then he drives in front of him. And then after that, Chase Elliott continues to run the top line of the racetrack while Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson are battling out for the win. Chase Elliott keeps holding Harvick up on the high line. That eventually allows Larson to get a run, and Larson makes a pass on Harvick for the lead, does a sly job, in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s words, in front of Harvick, and Larson is able to I wouldn't say pull away, but hang on to the lead, and Larson obviously would get the win. And then after the race, Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott get out of their cars, they talk to each other. Harvick had his helmet on, which in my opinion is a bit of a chicken move, because, if you want to talk to somebody, you take your helmet off, and, I'm going to leave that at that. But they were talking. Chase Elliott had his helmet off. Harvick had his helmet on. They were talking. There were small shoves, I guess. There wasn't anything that physical happen. I mean, Chase had his finger on Harvick's helmet, and then, I don't know. There wasn't anything that physical happening. There wasn't a fight like people are saying there was, and there were a bunch of people trying to instigate the fight and make a fight happen, which is honestly baloney in my opinion. But they did that on pit road, and then they went back in the garage area and they were having a conversation. There was a camera guy. He had his cell phone like this and he was recording it. And Kevin Harvick walked over to him 3 times and told him to put it away. And then they're like, okay, that's it. Chase is like, let's go to my hauler and talk. So they went inside Chase Elliott's hauler and apparently talked it out. We haven't heard much about if the problem has been resolved or anything like that. But, I mean, that's the whole incident. Matthew, you can go ahead and give me your spiel on what happened here, and we can kind of debate for a few minutes back and forth between. I know you were probably going to say it's all Chase Elliott's fault and all of that, so let's go back and forth a little bit here and see what you have to say.
Alright, so here's my breakdown about this whole feud or incident that happened. So, the whole thing that started with that, I think it was just a hard racing incident. They're going at it for the lead, or it was for the lead, I think. I mean, it's like 30 some laps to go. I mean, you're not going to give him any room. It's time to go. It's time to win, because Kyle Larson was coming. He has a really fast car. So I mean, you gotta just get on going. I mean, that's just how short track racing is. Or what Denny Hamlin used to say, it's short track racing. But and then Harvick did get loose up in the bottom and slid up, and I eventually cut Elliott's tire at the wrong spot. But like I said, I think that was just a hard racing incident right there, I mean, for the lead and all. But I think Elliott really overreacted, in my opinion. I mean, you can't just go out on the track. I mean, you're multiple laps down. You're done anyways. You're not going to win. There's no need to go up there and try to, put a fender on Harvick, trying to make him wreck or put him in the wall or something. I mean, that's a little, out. I mean, that's a little out of bounds for me, in my opinion. But I mean, at least it didn't, it didn't cause like a wreck or something. Because if that would have been like Boyer Gordon 2.0 at Phoenix again. That happened. But and then Elliott proceeded to keep in Harvick's line the whole time. And I mean, that's smart race. That's smart, but at the same time, I don't like it because I've been in that side when Kyle Busch at Atlanta with Ross Chastain helping his teammate Kurt, basically doing the same exact thing. So I'm not a fan of it, in my opinion, but I mean, that's kind of smart, try to help your teammate win. So, and it worked. Let's see. But yeah, the whole confrontation thing, yeah, Harvey probably should have taken his helmet off, but and you gotta realize in the heat of the moment, you're really emotional. Like you just got all these thoughts in your head, like, hey, I'm gonna beat this dude. So you know what? So you don't really think about, oh, I gotta take my helmet off first. Remember Jeff Gordon at Bristol? He didn't take his helmet off. He went over there and just shoved Kenseth. I mean, we've seen that happen before. So I guess Harvick just didn't think about it, just left his helmet on. So that's what happened. And Elliott, that's funny how Elliott and Harvick got out their cars and walked to each other at the same time. Like, they were both really mad about it. Like, Elliott was mad that he got taken out. Harvick was mad because he was in the way and just, ruining this whole race and all. And then with Elliott pointing his finger, I'm like, come on, really? You think, come on. I'm surprised Kevin Harvick did not just slap his hand away. Because if you had your finger on my face, man, you better get that out of my face. But, I mean, it looked like things were calming down a little bit until Elliott decided to put the hand on the helmet. I don't know if you're going to put a replay of this, but I saw at the end there, he put his hand on his helmet, like gave it just a little tap on it, and that set off Harvick right there. They were shoving a little bit, not really too much happening, but Elliott kind of instigated that with the hand putting his finger in his face, and then with the little hand tap on the helmet. We saw Logano did the hand tap on Hamlin in Martinsville, and that set Hamlin off, and that caused a bunch of chaos. So, but I want to take this time though and appreciate what the officials did. I've been criticizing the officials all year long with their bogus calls and all, especially with rain calls. They did a really good job with this situation. I like how they made sure no one was in the way, no pit crews were piling in, getting in the mosh pit. Like, we've seen in fights when most of the time it's just pit crews getting in the mosh pit. But so they did a good job with that. They stood there in case something was about to happen. Like, they didn't get in between them trying to separate them. They were just in right there just in case things got a little bit tense. And they stepped in the right time, because when Elliott tapped Harvick in the helmet, gave a little hand tap in the helmet, that's when Harvick was starting to get a little more physical, and that's when they kind of separated there. So the officials did a great job making sure it didn't turn to an all-out brawl like we've seen in the past, aka Jeff Gordon 2014. Man, Harvick's interview was so funny though. I loved Harvick's interview, in my opinion, because that was full emotion right there. And hey, this the second race in 3 races that we've heard driver let out a couple words out. Kyle Busch at Darlington and Harvick. I know Dale Jr. is probably a little salty about that, because he said one of those words in victory lane that cost him the championship. So, It's interesting to get away with that now compared to back then, but yeah, I haven't seen Harvick that mad in a long time. Like we all know back in the day, Harvick was a hothead. I mean, he would get into fights. I mean, or brawl or confrontations. But it seems like over the past few years, it's really as you get older, you get a little humble and stuff like that. But I mean, last night though, that really made a fire out of him. I mean, I understand it. I mean, that SHR has struggled this year. I mean, they've been down terrible. I mean, Eric Almirola is the only driver who has won for them this year. And that was Harvick's closest chance of winning this year. So I understand why he was really mad about that, because that was his best opportunity to win all season long. That basically gone away from him. As far as Elliott's comments, I find it really ironic of all those comments they made, especially last year at Bristol. Didn't he do something similar? Oh yeah, he basically dive bombed at the turn 3 and put Logano on the wall when he was absolutely not clear at all. Or when he spun Ty Dillon in the wall, basically dumped him in that last turn of Canadian Tire. Or even this year when he threw a really bad block at the Benedetto when he wasn't clear and caused a big wreck. So I just find it kind of ironic, but his fan base is going to do everything. They have the whole big book of excuses that they find. And let me just talk about that for a second. And I don't care if I lose likes or whatever. I don't really care. Guess what? You Chase Elliott fan base, you suck too. Look, they are just horrible to deal with. They mean, especially, I mean, these type of incidents when Elliott's involved in something, and I'm quickly reminded how this fan base makes an absolute fools out of themselves, makes the NASCAR fan base look like an absolute joke. And it's probably no wonder why we can't get a lot of these new fans in, because the first thing they see is the most disgusting, nauseating fan base I've seen in NASCAR. Yes, I said it. I don't care. I mean, they are a poor example of fans in NASCAR. We need way much more better fans, like Jimmy here, for example. He's a Chase fan, but he actually has common sense. He thinks. See, Jimmy, I'm not going to just trash your driver's fans. I'm going to give you a compliment here. See, he's the better.
So honestly, like I went on social media and I just looked through some of the comments, because NASCAR literally made a post like, tell us your thoughts on the incident between Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick, and I'm like, are you guys trying to like start up controversy and lose fans? Because like all it's gonna be is just fans arguing in the comments over an accident that happened. Like, I don't know, but I was just reading through them just to read. I don't get offended by those comments because they're people with no common sense that just type random stuff in the comment section. But I was just reading it for the heck of it. I find it funny, honestly, to read through the comment section. But like most of them were like against Chase Elliott. Honestly, I didn't really see many Chase Elliott fanboys or fangirls.
No, you must have been. That must have been a different post, because what I saw was all, oh my goodness, Harvick's trash. Chase Elliott's better. He's so much better. I'm like, oh goodness gracious, this is gonna be a long week.
I've seen a mix of both reactions, but taking it back to like the actual event that happened. So, put Kyle Busch where Chase Elliott is. Put Joey Logano in Chase Elliott's shoes. What would they have done? They would have done the exact same thing. If they came out on the racetrack by Kevin Harvick, they would have given him a bump or something to let him know
but you don't
that what he did.
It. If that was Kyle Busch or Logano, they would have gone blasted on. They would be asking NASCAR for fines, suspensions, etc. But since it's Chase Elliott, it's all, oh, he could do whatever he wants. It's
no, I'm not talking about it
mad. But when it's somebody else, it's automatic. This driver's the worst. He's so dirty. He needs to be fined. Blah blah blah. It's the stupid double standard that we have to see other NASCAR fans who are not Hendrick or Elliott fans that we got to deal with every weekend. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, this whole double standard here. I mean, if it's a Hendrick driver, if it's Chase Elliott that causes the issue, it's just hard racing, whatever, they'll move on for it. But if it was somebody else, especially if it's JGR Penske, oh, they're the worst. That's why they're trash. That's why they need to be suspended. That's why I hate them. They suck. That's the double standard that we got, us non-Hendrick or Elliott fans, got to deal with every weekend when something like this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't talking about it from like the fans' perspective. I was just talking about it in the driver's perspective, anyways. Because there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, what Chase Elliott did on the racetrack was wrong." Well, I'm like, well, what would your driver do? Like, your driver would do the same thing. I guarantee you, if it was Kyle Busch in that situation, Joey Logano, almost any driver, I pretty much guarantee you they would have done the same thing, if not worse, to Kevin Harvick. Like, Joey Logano probably would have went out there and wrecked Kevin Harvick. To be honest with you, like, I mean, like,
you're probably right about
sure,
Kyle, but probably
sure,
if it was like LARSON or like Eric Gamarola, that was random. But if that was like one of those drivers, I doubt they would really do anything like that.
But I don't know, like, as a Chase Elliott fan, like a good Chase Elliott fan, not one of those.
You're only one of 3 Elliott fans that I actually care about or stand for.
Not one of the. So from that perspective, I'm glad Chase Elliott stood up for himself, because he got pushed around so much when he first came into the series, and he's finally standing up for himself on the racetrack. Like, he got dumped at Martinsville in 2017 and went over to talk with Denny Hamlin. Like, he's had so many instances where he's gotten in trouble, and he hasn't stood up for himself. So I'm proud of him for finally sticking up for himself, showing those veterans, hey, I belong here. I'm a champion of this sport. You better respect me or something's going to happen. So, and it did. He cost Kevin Harvick the win. And I'm glad he did it, because I'm just glad he stood up for himself. So, I mean, put most drivers in his shoes, they would have done the same thing, if not worse. That's where I'm going to stand from it. And, I mean, some Chase Elliott fans might agree with me, some might disagree, some Kyle Busch fans might agree or disagree. It's all opinion.
Well,
so I mean,
I think all the Elliott
that's all
fans
it
are
is.
just
So
going to be disagreeing me.
I mean, it's all opinion. There's no right or wrong.
And there's no beef. It's all about debate.
Yeah, and then I'm really glad that they actually handled this like memo and took it to the hauler, because you don't see that. Like, you see, like, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, whatever happened, like, they never really, like, Larson tried to call Bell or something and he didn't respond or something. I'm like, come on, really? Like, talk it out the day it happens and get it over with. So I personally don't think there'll be another issue on the track. I mean, there might be, but I mean, they handled it at the racetrack in the right way. I mean, arguably the thing on pit road was a little bit jacked up, and oh my gosh, do not get me started on Kevin Harvick's agent or whoever the heck it was in the white t-shirt. Oh my gosh, he would not get out of the way. He was in the way on pit road, he was in the way in the garage area and everything. So,
hey,
like,
he's trying to give him his Subways, man. His Subway subs, trying to get the advertising in.
That dude was annoying, but I'm glad that they handled it and put it behind him. And yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated that it happened, but we gotta move on. We're in the playoffs still. Chase is still in the playoffs. Harvick's still in the playoffs. There's still a whole lot left to race for, and I mean, that's just Bristol. Like, that stuff's gonna happen there. So now we have to talk about the playoffs. So,
all right, much calmer subject here.
I'm not really gonna go over the top 10. I'm going to hop straight into the playoff standings. So, like I said, the final 50 laps were really intense, and it was Almirola and Reddick. They were trying to gain spots. William Byron was trying to hang on to third after Chase Elliott had his issues. So, Byron ended up making his way into the playoffs by 2 points, I believe, over Eric Almirola and Tyler Reddick. They were both fighting hard. Kurt Busch just did not show up. He did not have a good car at all, unfortunately, so that stunk for Kurt Busch. So the 4 drivers that were out are Eric Almirola, Tyler Reddick, Kurt Busch, and Michael McDowell. So safe to say both of our playoff brackets are screwed. I had Reddick advancing, and that didn't work. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm really glad Byron advanced. most people I talked to were like, I don't think he could do it. And I'm like, get him some stage points, and I think he has a chance. And he did just that. William Byron made it into the playoffs. Christopher Bell, he's still in. So that's the playoffs. It was crazy to watch those final 50 laps or so with that controversy going around the bubble, and I think it's going to get even more intense as the weeks go on and we get to the other 2 sets of cutoff races. So, that was definitely intense at Bristol for those final laps. And what do you guys say about the playoffs and those final laps from that perspective, driving away from this whole controversy that we just talked about? Talk about those last 50 laps in perspective of the playoffs.
Well, I'm sorry, everyone. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'll just keep it short here. A lot of those I actually predicted right. I predicted Reddick, Almirola, McDowell, or out. I predicted those. I actually got one pick wrong. That was Christopher Bell. I had him out the first round. He absolutely exceeded my expectations in this round. I thought he did really good this round. So that's the one I got wrong, and it's unfortunate for Kurt Busch. He was looking good until Richmond when he blew that tire, and then Bristol, they just missed the setup. So that's unfortunate for Kurt Busch, as this is his final year of Chip Ganassi, and this is Chip Ganassi's final time to be in the playoffs. So it's been a fun run, Chip Ganassi, but other than that, I got most of my playoff first round picks right, except for that one.
Yeah, looking at mine right now, I only got one wrong as well. I put Harvick out, and that was kind of dumb. Looking back on it now, that he almost won Bristol. So yeah, I only got Harvick wrong instead of Reddick. I had Christopher Bell in. I was telling everybody, do not sleep on Christopher Bell, especially at Richmond and Bristol, because he's ran well there in the Xfinity Series, so I thought that would transfer to the Cup Series, and it did. So he ran very well at those 2 tracks, got himself into the next round there. So yeah, that's the playoffs for you guys. So the drivers that are still in the playoffs, I'll throw a quick screenshot up on the screen for the current point standing. So Kyle Larson, 46 points, he's just fine. Everyone after that, not safe. The cut line, Logano, Keselowski, Bell, and Harvick are out right now. Byron and Bowman are right on the edge. So it's really going to be really tight this next round here. And we got Talladega in this round too. So that's going to shake everything up, I feel like. So this might be the scariest round yet, honestly, for me.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
This could be a crazy round for sure, but do you got any closing thoughts before we wrap it up? We know this video is long, by the way, guys, but we just had to talk back and forth about that whole incident. But yeah,
let's do the rating real quick first.
Oh yeah,
then we'll have to end it because it's getting way too long. Well,
so for this race, I'm gonna rate it like an 8.5, but I'm gonna rate the whole weekend like a 9.9 out of 10. Like the whole weekend, absolutely amazing, great racing all around. So for the whole weekend, I'm gonna give it like a 9.9, but for this Cup race specifically, I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. So go ahead and rate it for me.
Well, I'm actually going to give all 3 races a rating. I'm giving the Truck Series an 8 out of 10, which is the lowest of the 3, because I thought the Truck race was just a little bit of a wreck fest. But like they couldn't keep it straight for one lap. But besides that, it's still awesome. I'm definitely giving it a 10 out of 10 for the Xfinity one. Best race of the year, in my opinion. And then the Cup race, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It was almost like the Truck race, the finish wise. Like they were battling out, and they moved the leader out of the way with a couple laps to go. But there was less crashes, a crash fest than it was the Truck race. So that's why I'm giving it a little bit higher. But yeah, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Amazing weekend, and I need to go back to Bristol again.
Yeah, it was definitely a great weekend. We've been chatting back and forth. I'm like, we need to have 2 Bristol asphalt races again. If they run the dirt, sure, but like, give me 2 Bristol dirt. Give me 2 Bristol asphalt races a year, starting in 2023 again.
That's the way to make fans more mad. Let's add 2 more Bristol dirt races.
But yeah, I'll throw our fantasy points up on the screen as well. I got 1 point. So I'm closing the gap. I'm down to 9 points, but still a long way to go.
But we won't talk
So a
about
long
that.
way to go in this playoff schedule, but that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry it was a bit long, but
Hey, it was worth
this video
it.
was a lot of fun.
It was worth after this
video.
weekend.
It was a lot of fun to talk about. One of the best NASCAR weekends ever, in my opinion. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in our next video. It'll be a predictions video heading into the playoffs. Keep on going. We're trucking along. Getting there. It'll be a lot of fun. Stick around. We'll see you guys in our next video.